Our next guest is a professor, critically acclaimed author, and one of our favorite television pundits.
Yeah.
And over the years, he's helped define the conversation about race, culture, and class in our country and globe.
But today he's here to discuss the 12th Annual National Black Writers Conference. All-around genius, Jelani Cobb. Yes, I said it. All-around genius, Jelani Cobb. Welcome to Arise.
I'm not an all-around genius. I'm a specific genius. Right? Yeah, I don't want to lay claim to like all sorts of areas. Just in one area.
Well, you're a history genius. We know that.
I think history genius. I'll accept that.
You'll accept that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about all the geniuses you'll be getting together at this conference. Tell us about it. And what do writers do when they get together? Does it get wild? Do they drink tequila shots and read each other's work? What?
No, I think the point is to drink and then read until like the pages are blurry, and then you can comment on people's work and say, "Oh, it's incredible, it's brilliant." But that will not be happening at this conference.
Okay, good.
This conference will be much more august and serious. It's a really important event. This is the 12th Black Writers Conference to be held at Medgar Evers College, and it's an important tradition. I've personally been going since I was a little bit younger, let's say, than I am now, and it's a kind of show place. It's where people learn about craft. It's a kind of intergenerational thing where the tradition, the literary tradition among African Americans has really been passed from one generation to another, and the torch and so on. And so really, really important event, and I would encourage people to come out, especially with the lineup that we have, this year.
Yeah, who's on your lineup this year?
We will be honoring Walter Mosley.
Ooh, Devil in the Blue Dress.
That's right. We will be honoring Maurice Condé.
Really?
The incredible author. Also, the poet Derek Walcott, and the institution builder and founder Margaret Burroughs. And so a really, really good turnout. Then Sonia Sanchez will be there as well, and Angela Davis. Angela Davis will be there.
And there's a tribute to Audre Lorde.
A tribute to Audre Lorde. I mean, it's just,
it's an amazing
there's something
lineup
for everyone to come out for.
Okay.
And I'll be there, kind of.
Well, that's a reason in itself.
Randomly opining in the hallway. That's what I'll just I'll have a booth for opinions.
So who are you most looking forward to seeing?
Lots of people. I think possibly Derek Walcott, because he's a Nobel laureate, and so I've never met him. But I've been a big fan of the work of lots of people there. And Tanana Reeve-Dew will be there as well. And she's one of the most notable African Americans working in speculative fiction now, and her work is really important. So I'd be eager to see her as well.
Well, you clearly have an amazing lineup this year, and since it's in its 12th year, how do you think it's evolved over the time?
Well, it's interesting because a lot of the people who began there as attendees, like I was, are now panelists, and we're passing along things that we learned. And so I remember sitting in sessions and talking to people about how the publishing industry works, and being exposed to authors whose work I wasn't familiar with, like John O'Killens, the great novelist. And now I'm actually in a position, and many of us who were attendees before, in a position to talk about what we're doing and to shed light on the literary tradition and so on.
So Jelani, it sounds like there are workshops, panels. I hear there's also a concert this year.
There will be.
Okay.
And so there's also poetry readings as well. And so there will be a lot of kind of multiple events that will be going on this year.
So this is for anyone who wants to get involved, who is interested in
writing. Or is
it
only open to writers?
It will be for anyone in the community. If you consider yourself a member of any community, come out. Not solely if you're African American, but if you are African American, certainly come out. And certainly not only for writers. So this is for people who are writers, people who are readers, people who are just interested in, kind of culture at large. And so just come out and have a good time.
Well, let's talk about how you became a writer.
Okay, sure.
I'm a huge fan, such a huge fan. And your work on Trayvon Martin, I mean, your New Yorker piece last summer was just brilliant, brilliant. But it was interesting to read that your father was an electrician.
That's right.
With a third-grade education.
That's right.
And you went on to receive fellowships from Fulbright and Ford.
Yeah.
Talk to us about your journey.
So, here's what I think is important for us to understand the written word with its specific relationship to the history of Black people in this country, because it's something that we were denied. Something that, literacy was, a weapon, and it was dangerous, and it could undermine the social structure that kept Black people at the bottom. And so my father, coming out of segregation and having a third-grade education in Georgia, the earliest thing that I remember as a child is him teaching me the alphabet and kind of imprinting upon me that, I was supposed to master this, the thing that he'd been denied. And so that led to me, having a curiosity and spending time in the libraries and going on and deciding that I would write, and I would I would write in a way that my father had not had the opportunity to.
Now, because he was denied that education, did that make you want to push for it more? And did he encourage you more because of that?
It absolutely did. And so it's funny because in some ways we kind of think of ourselves as, doing what we want as adults and becoming who we think that we should be. But our parents always have kind of an advantage. They have a head start on us because, as gifts, my father would give me writing pads as a child. And I'd be like, oh, great. Like, this is great. It's a toy. But he was really training me to do this thing that he had in mind. And so in that way, I guess I maybe have, lived out something that he wanted.
We have something in common. One of my first articles appeared in YSB, and so did yours.
Right.
Now, YSB, for those who don't know, was Young Sisters and Brothers.
Right.
It was a magazine that BET used to put out.
Frank Dexter Brown.
Dexter Brown.
That's right.
Yes.
And so there are a lot of people who kind of came through there.
Yeah.
That was the time when YSB was connected to Emerge magazine and a few other outlets. And so, that's going way back into the days.
I took you way back, didn't I? But when did you decide that you wanted a life in letters?
I think also one of the things that was really interesting is that when I came to Howard University as a young person, as a first-year student, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And it's a story I tell now to my students. And, I was looking around and I was thinking maybe I don't belong here. My mother has a high school education, my father had third grade education. I was like, what am I doing here? And I didn't, do any of my assignment, my first assignment that I had to do. And the professor called me to his office and told me to just kind of sit down and try. And, I wrote something and thought it was maybe passable. And, he gave me a B. And I said, oh, he's just trying to improve my self-esteem. And so we had to write one essay a week, and it was a 14-week semester. And so I wrote my first, my second, my third, and I got A's successively. And I was kind of shocked. And then, the middle of the semester, a professor said that, you're a writer. And I was like, yeah, I don't think so.
You didn't believe him?
I didn't believe him. But by the end of the semester, there were other students who were coming to me and asking me to help them with their writing. And I said, maybe I do have an ability. Maybe there's something here. And so I think that says something about the institution. It says something about Howard University. It says something about that tradition. It says something about us being able to move past our doubts. And to bring it back, it says something about why we need things like the National Black Writers Conference, because that is a place where we talk about this kind of at large, to understand how these multiple routes that many of us have taken to the spoken word and the written word, and how that plays into, just so many elements of our history and so many elements of our contemporary concern there. So, yeah, absolutely.
I want to run down your resume real quick, because over the years you've written books like The Substance of Hope, Barack Obama and the Paradox of Progress, To the Break of Dawn, a freestyle of hip-hop and an aesthetic, and The Devil and Dave Chappelle and other essays. And you've also written from everyone from the New Yorker to the Washington Post. Explain to me when you actually sleep, because I don't know how you fit all this in.
I fall asleep at the computer a lot, actually.
Well, tell us about your writing process. Are you more of a bulk writer, where you just sit down and get it all done, or you do notes here and there?
No, I kind of, most of the time I write from an outline. And so I'll start with kind of ideas. Even when I write books, I have 2 books that I'm finishing now. When I write books, I go out and get a journal, and I make a mock-up of the book in the journal. So I'll start with introduction, table of contents, and so on. And so by the time I'm finished taking notes, the journal looks like something like what the book will look like. And so I then start writing, and I go from there until I'm filling things in. And there's always the transitional point, like it's an uphill battle until the manuscript thumps. And what I mean by that is when you have enough writing that when you drop it on the table, it thumps, it's good after that.
It's good after that.
Once you reach that point, you're kind of just coasting.
That's a beautiful image.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
I've got to use that one.
Right.
Yeah,
I've got to use that one.
So that's kind of my process.
You mentioned 2 upcoming projects. What are they?
I'm writing a history book about African Americans and civil rights during the Cold War. And I'm writing another book, a nonfiction book, with the provocative title of The Problem with Black People.
So in a nutshell, what's our problem?
Please explain.
Well, actually, I'm glad you asked, because the subtitle of that is that you think there's a problem with black people.
I like that.
Okay, so when that's done, you're coming back. You
I
promise?
will come back, absolutely.
Okay, so this is just the beginning, Jelani.
This is just the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. I look forward to seeing you guys.
And tell us where everybody can learn more information about the National Black Writers Conference.
Well, if you Google the National Black Writers Conference, it'll come up, or Medgar Evers College, it'll come up, and all the information, all the directions, how to get there, the schedule, all that's available on the website.
All right.
Well, Jelani, keep doing what you do.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. And you're watching Arise Entertainment 360.